All right, guys, welcome back. This is weekly coaching number 12. I am Mr. Rip. Student name is King Louis. We missed a few weeks there just because of scheduling differences and all that stuff. But the student has an update from the homework of last time, week 11, which was practicing defensive aggro in lane, doing a little bit of research on creep aggro and all that stuff, and seeing how that helps out. So let's go into the review, and then we'll look at probably 4 games here really quickly and try and hit on that topic of like defensive aggroing in lane. All right, so Louis, what is the MMR this?
At the moment, it's 1,170.
Okay, so pretty much exactly where we were before. And you did some aggro practice and all that stuff, and you noticed like since the patch matchmaking is garbage. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Did you notice any other trends with like how your games were going since the last session, which was on the 4th?
So like at the start it was like going like kind of good, but then well, at the first, like when I was like pulling them, it'd be like I would say like I was like too focused on like pulling them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I'd be out of playing position, and then it was like I don't think I got like better at it, like as like the pulling went on, if that makes sense.
Sure, that's natural. Like while you're focusing on a technique, kind of let down the other stuff a little bit, but you feel like you got the hang of it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's start with, you mentioned the CK game, so let's start with that one. So we'll just look at defensive aggro and any other questions you have while we're going through.
Is it like, do you know when it's just like pulling it to like the range creep? If it just doesn't go on the range creep, is it all right? If
is it okay if it doesn't do that? So
it goes to like the last one.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason we defensive aggro is like what do you think the reasoning is to do it in the first place?
To get like the creeps more on your side, like you to be in like a safer position,
right?
Than to be like more outy position.
Okay. What are some other reasons you might want to do it?
To make the wave equilibrium more to your tower, it's like your favorish.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And do you know how that actually happens? Like what the mechanically why that's happening?
The range creep does the most damage, and then it's like if that dies, like it's eventually gonna go like your favor.
Yeah, exactly. So the goal is partly to pull the creeps that we want to kill near us and send the creeps that we don't want to kill near the enemy, so they can't just right click us, otherwise they instantly draw aggro, right? So it is defensive like that. We're trying to minimize damage. The other part of it is we want to kill off our range creep, because if we kill off our range creep and they don't kill off their range creep, then naturally their wave will push into us, which will make it so we're safer, right? So exactly what you said. But you want to keep those things in mind while you're doing it. Because like the question you asked of like, well, what if it doesn't go on the range creep? It's still achieving the objective of making it safer for yourself, but it's not achieving the objective of killing the range creep, right? So if you drag and then aggro to the melee creeps and he drags and aggros to his range creep, you have half the benefit but not all of it. So yeah. And what types of lanes would you want to do this in a lot, where you'd want to spam it?
Melee range, and like especially lanes you're losing as well, or they've got like double range and like you're like melee, if that makes sense. So, like the more unfavorable the lane is, the more you probably want to do it. Like make sure you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you understand the why and the how mostly, I think, so that's good. Keeping it on your camera. That's good. So, do you have any other questions about it so far, besides like, what if it doesn't go on the range creep?
I was gonna say, like, at the time I was trying to like prioritize like should it when should I do it, like every like pull every lane, like stuff like that. It's like, because like sometimes I would like, I know it's like there's a dead zone, like maybe like on it, or sometimes like when you click on it, it doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah.
like so it's just like time it like to which one.
Okay, so sometimes it's inconsistent. That's true. That's just a mechanical thing. That's just getting practice with doing it more, and you know, making sure it works. And even then, sometimes the aggro gets weird and doesn't act the way you would expect. So it's mainly just a practice thing. But if you're asking, like, do you need to click multiple times? Sometimes, but you know, it should be fine on the first click. And yeah, and I think when I watch, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I think I just cut out for a second there. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Did you hear what I was saying before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be consistent, but sometimes, you know, it can just take a little bit of practice to get it right.
Okay.
I haven't seen you do it too many times on this CK game.
Oh, I tried to like just keep clicking on him, but like I think I was pulling it back, but like it was like done like not that well in it because it was at the start when I was like doing it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it happen too much in this one. I said, okay, there, you did it there for sure. Cool, great. Sometimes you're not able to do it because, like, when you go up to do it, they just smack the shit out of you, right? So that can happen too. It's not a 100% guaranteed thing to work. Okay.
But I think I was just trying to kind of focus on it, but like I was like not like doing it like properly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you were saying, you were kind of like tunnel visioning on it a little bit. Yeah, that's natural.
Yeah. And then it was like I think like me and the Dark Gorilla just wasn't like working well in lane together. Stuff like it was I was like trying like certain times trying to communicate with it, and it would be like it wasn't just happening.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anybody at your level to get creep aggro right. Even if they're trying, because I mean, I'm 5k and people don't. I fuck it up, and people that I'm laning with fuck it up. So like, it's not easy. Even though it's what you spend, you know, 90% of your life doing is sitting in the freaking lane hitting creeps. Like somehow, not something we all learned very well. So I wouldn't expect your lane partner to get it right either. I would say in this lane though, like this lane is probably. This lane's harder than it needed to be for kind of two reasons. The first is like the bounty rune. You lost like 99% of your health.
Yeah.
That sets you behind. And the second off, second thing is your items don't really reflect the lane you're in. So this is a thing. Like Orb of Corrosion says, I'm winning the lane and I want to keep winning it harder, and I want to be laning a long time and like beating this guy's ass, right?
Yeah.
If you're already losing the lane, it really doesn't do too much for you. Like the cost of the item doesn't help you live longer. This would be a lane where I would prioritize more bracers, or you know, working towards an armlet, you know, getting like Helm of Iron Will and stuff like that to tank up, because this gold you're spending on Orb of Corrosion is like kind of dead gold for the most part. Yeah, like attack speed's nice, armor's nice and all that stuff, but like it's 875 gold. That's a lot of money to be spending on an item that is basically only giving you 3 armor, right?
Okay.
The Ring of Protection by itself would be kind of achieving the same goal. So that's kind of part of it. I would go more bracers here, and I would also go where is it?
I was thinking because do you know the void thing, when he goes back for health, it gives him like less health back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does affect healing. That's true. But that's still, and that's a good point, but that is also like, it's an offensively minded solution. So like Void's healing doesn't really matter to you if you're just getting killed in lane over and over again, right? Your ability to survive is more important, because it's not like you're the one putting pressure on the Void all the time. So that's why an item like this is like, it's good thinking, but it's in the wrong direction. It's achieving an irrelevant objective, if that makes sense, right? So it would be a little bit like trying to think of something that would be similar. I don't know. It's a little bit buying a Linken's to counter a Bane. where all 4 of his spells are targeted. He actually doesn't really give too much of a shit about a Linken's. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
or maybe that's not a good analogy. It's like buying a Manta to do more damage and not to like dispel things. Right?
Okay.
So that sort of makes sense. Yeah. I like the thinking on it though, because it does affect regen. I'm not sure if that's actually even how Void's Time Walk works. I don't know if it actually is a heal ability. I'd have to look on the wiki on that one. But yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of enough of that one. Let's look at the next game. I didn't see too much aggro there. Let's look at the Axe one. Now, Axe is a funny one when it comes to defensive aggro, because Axe wants the creeps to be all bunched together, right?
Yeah.
So on the one hand, Axe wants to draw aggro to trigger counter Helix procs, but on the other hand, he wants to be able to repeatedly do that. So usually the way you deal with an Axe is by splitting the creeps up. An Axe would prefer the creeps are not split up. So this might actually be one where you would do the inverse, and instead of dragging to your range creep, you might want to drag them forwards into the opponent, keep them grouped. Like you counter their pull with like a push, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you just pull them to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, cool. So at this one. So thoughts on this lane? So Axe versus Juggernaut, and we don't know what support we're against yet. What do you think of that matchup?
I like from the bat I thought it was going to be like Hoodwink Jug or Witch Doctor Jug.
Right. Yeah, you're still taking a lot of damage on these runes. You gotta be careful with this.
Yeah.
This would have been a good time to do it, by the way. So like when you're getting low like this, because you don't have your spin anyway.
Yeah.
This is exactly the type of instance where you would want to do it. This is a great use case. You know, you're half health, he's full health. It's a fresh creep wave. You immediately drag to your ranged here. Because if this Jug is good, he'll be like, oh, Axe is half health and has less regen than me. And I know he didn't take the spin because I've seen him cast this Battle Hunger already. I'm going to click on this Axe and force him out. And then I'm going to spin him, right? Like, Jug should be trying to kill you here. He's not, because he's not very good. Or he's being lazy or whatever. But this would be where you'd want a defensive aggro to prevent that as much as you can.
Okay. I think I was just like scared of like my HP at this, like at the start, like until I had my spin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. A little bit. There you go. You did it there. That's good. I realize it's also something that you're learning and you're trying to incorporate, so you're not going to get it perfect every single time. But yeah, Axe is a little bit of a weird one. Not really a hero that makes use of this the most, because typically he's the one dominating the lane. And he's more powerful the more creeps there are around, typically, you know, as long as he has his regen and everything. And you know what? You don't have to wait for the Juggernaut to be near the creeps to do it.
Oh, okay.
So, try and hero invisible.
I know you could do it like to like, so I've done it like when other people are in other lanes, but it's like like it's like, because I know you could used to do it off just the picture, but I think they changed it now. So like you can't, if that makes sense.
I'm actually not even sure if it works. Like right-clicking their portrait at the top of the screen. I don't even know if it works. I think it was supposed to work and it was bugged, and I don't know if they fixed it or not. But I mean, it doesn't matter. You could always just click up here and click on Abaddon, or you could click over here and click on these guys.
Yeah.
But the reason why, you know, you don't have to wait for this Jug to come back to lane. Like you can do it to him now, right? And actually doing it to him now is even better, because if you drag to the range creep, like he can't get in range to actually get that last hit. So you're like completely denying the creep from him, right? Not even giving him a chance. Yeah, there's no reason to wait on this, you know, just do it as soon as you can. And the reason for it being like you're not winning this trade so far. You know? Should get easier for you as you get more levels, but and another thing actually with Axe here, so because we're kind of we know we're having trouble with this lane, you actually want to be careful about doing this right here. So the issue here is that you're dragging all the aggro to yourself, which is triggering your helix, and it's also protecting your creeps, because his creeps are hitting you, not the creeps, so they're not damaging it. So it's automatically a negative to equilibrium. Even if you didn't have counter helix, it would still push your wave doing this. If they're spending all the damage on you and not on the creeps, your creeps are going to damage their creeps, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be careful about this. And then it's even stronger because you have counter helix. Like, you're going to kill this wave, and your wave's not even going to take very much damage at all. So you had the equilibrium in a really great place. This is where you'd want to get the aggro off of yourself and sit behind your creeps and only go for last hits to try and keep it here. Because you're having a hard time in this lane. Like, you're a level down and your support's not here, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to be trying to be like the super aggro Axe right now. You want to try and like catch up a little bit. Especially because you're very close to your Vanguard. You know? Once you get that timing, you get a lot stronger. Any questions about that?
No, like, so like, also like with my items, should I be going like, 'cause, like some people go like the boots and like and not Vanguard like straight away. Is it okay that like I go like that greedy build and just go like Vanguard like super early?
I would say going Vanguard first item like is the opposite of going greedy.
Oh.
That's like the safest thing you can do. You buy boots in lanes where movement speed matters, right? That's always going to be the answer. Like, is movement speed going to keep me alive or get me a kill? Then I want my boots as a priority. In this type of a lane, it's melee versus melee. They don't have any slows, like whatever. Like, Vanguard is a good item here. Yeah, Vanguard is good, and Vanguard will even help you against Juggernaut's ultimate, and it'll help you against Witch Doctor's ultimate, right? Because it's a right click.
I think I tried to pull then as well, but like it didn't work, if that makes sense, on him just then.
Oh, we tried to aggro here.
Yeah, like
Okay.
like before, and it
Right here.
I think the first time when like he went up to him.
Okay, just tell me when it happens.
So like around like yeah, like so like in a bit, like I think I try it.
Okay.
Like when the lane's pushing, like on the next wave.
Try doing it there. Did you actually click on him? That would be my question. Like, maybe you misclicked? Trying to watch this is my cursor over here. So if we watch your cursor in slow motion, you might have actually not even clicked on him. Which happens, you know, you misclick sometimes, right? We're gonna go 0.25.
Yeah.
This is your cursor down here. It looks like your attack moving next to him.
Mm.
I'm not sure. That was a weird one. I think you just didn't click on him, or when you did click on him, you weren't exactly in range. Maybe. Kind of what it looked like.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Because I saw your cursor. Your cursor went red. It did the little red lines on the ground, but let me check again. Yeah, do you have your mouse set up to like right click as attack move or something?
I think I do.
Okay. So like if you just right click on the ground, like what happens? Do you just move there or do you attack move there?
I think I moved there, but like yeah, I think I just so it's
Let me see.
I think right click.
You might have your maybe you have like quick attack turned on or something like that. But that's a strange one because it looks to me like you were attack moving. Just based on what the cursor was doing, where it was making little arrows into the ground. But then what's weird is that your axe is not trying to attack anything. So maybe, I don't know if you can set this up. Perhaps. I think there's setting, can't remember. Smart attack. Yeah. Okay. Do you have smart attack move turned on?
Is it in advance?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have it on.
Right. So when issuing an attack order, the selected unit will target the enemy nearest to the cursor instead of the unit nearest to its current location. So I think what happened here was that you did an attack move next to Juggernaut, which told your axe to walk to there and then hit the thing nearest to where you clicked, which would be the Juggernaut, not the creeps. So you didn't actively aggro the Juggernaut with that command, and you also didn't have axe attack the nearest thing, which is what a normal attack move would do. A normal attack move on like next to the Witch Doctor right now would have axe just start punching the creep closest to him, right?
Okay.
And also attack moves don't draw aggro. It has to be the right click command. So the reason that didn't work is that you didn't issue a right click command or an attack command on Juggernaut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's why that didn't do anything there. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I have neither of those turned on. I don't use smart attack move, and I don't use quick attack or anything like that.
Would you say like turn it off? Should I turn it off then?
No, I think whatever you're used to, as long as you understand how it works, you should use what you're used to. I don't think whenever people say like, oh, you should use this or you should use that, it is 100% subjective. Like, sure, there are some arguments for like, you know, if you're like microing multiple units at once, like control groups make you objectively faster, but ultimately it's a human input. Like whatever you're most comfortable with or you're fastest with or you're used to, like that's what you should use and you should perfect it. So I would maybe play with both, you know, play with a quick attack and not quick attack, play with smart attack move and not smart attack move, and see what you prefer. I just pretty much have just gotten used to the default settings for a lot of things, and so that's what I use. Yeah, see, we got our Vanguard, we don't give a shit now. Nice. That's sick. Okay. Let's see. And again, you know, just because the jug isn't here doesn't mean you can't do it, right? So you can start aggroing, you can use the sniper in mid and start aggroing to your range right away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something to look for. A minor improvement. You know, again, if you think it's important, you know, maybe you don't feel like you actually need to do it there, but don't feel like you are limited to the hero being in lane in front of your face before you can do it. That's all.
Yeah. I think it got like, when they changed it, it got like more awkward. Like, 'cause I remember you could just used to tap the picture.
Yeah.
And, at the moment you have to like, you can't do that as much. You have to like click the picture then the hero.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I very rarely can try to use it. I just move my camera.
Oh.
Get that wisdom rune sitting there forever. Okay, so we saw a little bit of things there. We learned some stuff. Let's look at the next game. Okay, let's look at this Hoodwink one next. So, do you remember the context for this one at all?
I think we was with Axe, and I just I said like the lane was going to be probably hard for us at the start, so I'm going to like focus on like stacking.
Okay, cool.
Because I think when I've played this like lane with Axe like before, it's like I'm normally like find it difficult, so I was like, oh,
interesting. Was it Venge or Veno support?
Veno.
So the Veno PA versus Axe Hoodwink, you felt like it was a bad matchup?
So like I felt like either like when they're like with either of them, I felt like either of them will be like bad, if that makes sense. Like I'm not, if like I play against like the if I play against the Veno, he does like a lot of like slows and like kiting stuff.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I like asked to like try deny me then, but like I wasn't able to go off.
That's
and
fine.
Then and then I was like, if it's the avenged, if they do like the armor stun thing, it's just like a lot of like because of PA, like it's a lot of harass.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think Axe should win most of these lanes against it. Like if it's a melee core, Axe should be favored in pretty much every matchup except for maybe Ursa or Lifestealer.
Oh.
Those two might give him trouble.
Oh, okay.
I think if it's literally any other melee hero, like Axe is usually pretty favored once he has a few levels and once he gets his Vanguard. Like maybe early levels will be rough, but he should be favored at a certain point. That's just the type of hero he is. Venge and Veno are decent, but have a couple things going for you. So first off, you outrange both of them. Because I think Veno is 450 range. I think he used to be 400, and Venge is 400. So you do technically outrange both of them, and you have approximately equal kill threat as them. Because your Bushwhack is extremely strong. The spell is bullshit. I hate this spell so much. I actually hate this spell. Like, I ban Hoodwink because I fucking hate this spell so much. That and Acorn Shot is also, like, kind of broken. Yeah, she's annoying. Very annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the stacking. That's cool. Because you do have an axe. You have heroes that can utilize it. But I do want to point this out. So two things I have mentioned in the past. So you keep buying these items, these goddamn Wraith Bands and stuff, right?
Oh.
I really want you to experiment with not buying these as a support. Okay? Like, I would say maybe 1 in 10 games you can make a good argument for having one of these items as a support. For the most part, this is wasted gold, and you just shouldn't buy it. If you were expecting, like, oh, I'm gonna need the armor because I'm against a Venge and a PA and all that stuff, like, then just buy a Ring of Protection. Gives you more armor, right? Like, you can do that. Again, these items are to help you lane for a long time, and they're to help you last hit. Neither of those two things are really what you actually ideally want to be doing as a support, right? Because as a position 4 specifically, we want to be starting to roam around like level 3, 4, 5, right? So half the value of that item is wasted, and then the other half of the value of the item is wasted because we're not going to be going for that many last hits. Like that +5 damage, you know, like to help you compete with the PA for right click damage, like it's just not relevant. You just don't need it. So first off, really got to avoid these items. The second is, in all 3 of these games, I saw you take a really bad trade on the bounty rune or basically die off the bounty rune. That's the other thing you really have to look at. Like, you got to start like respecting these, because every replay we look at, the lane is immediately screwed up because of the bounty rune interaction, where you're starting like behind in XP and gold, or you're starting down on health, you know. So it's difficult to learn. It'll be difficult from your perspective to know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong when every single lane is effectively just random based on what happens on the rune, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say, like, for the next week, 2 things. Stop buying Wraith Bands and stuff like that. No more Null Talismans, Wraith Bands, or Bracers, okay? Just don't buy any of them, okay? If you're playing support.
I think I just went from like the Null Talisman to like the Wraith Bands.
I know. All right, just cut them all out. No more of them, okay? And the other thing is, I want you to not fight for bounty runes for like a week.
Okay.
What you can do instead is you can just stand here with the bounty rune in range, so you can see it, and then you wait and you see if anybody picks it up. And if nobody picks it up, then you go pick it up. That's it. Okay. Don't fight for them. Just stop fighting for them, because it's never going well, and you keep griefing yourself in the lane by doing it. Right. That's 2 things for homework. Okay. I'm not seeing defensive aggro come up here at all. Pulling and stacking is great. Good. You there?
I think-
what were you
I
gonna
think-
say? Go ahead.
I think like I end up griefing this lane like a lot, so it was like I just focused on a lot of I think stacks after. So, like it was like, oh, like if the and then I think when the axe goes to like do them or something like that, I then go like do it.
Yeah. I'd say you maybe be a little bit careful with stacking this much for an axe. Like, you should be fine. Like, you can do the small camp, but
I think like I not once you've got Vanguard and level 3, you can do the first camp up to like 6 normally, and then you can like heal and do the ancients up to like 8.
Yeah, the ancients are going to be the hard part there.
Yeah.
And it's all fine. I really like that you're taking the time to stack here whenever there's a down period. Like, whenever Axe is just chilling here, you know, like, go stack. That's good. That's extra efficiency. Axe is the perfect hero to do that with. But what I would say, Hoodwink is an extremely aggressive hero, and there's no reason you can't just play this lane and be aggressive with the Axe. It's like PA Venge is not like a mega kill threat lane that you need to be like super scared of. Like, you can just be like, look at this right now. Like, this is you tunnel visioning a little bit here. Let me just put it on the free camera. So when you go to walk away, I just want to show you this real quick. Up a little bit. I think I went too far. Like, imagine if you were standing next to the axe when he did that.
Okay.
See how far away you are? Like, you get this stun. You can like chain stun both of them. Technically, you could have gotten a kill actually here, probably, with your spells. Yeah, I mean, I know it's on cooldown, but just you know, like Acorn Shot still does a little bit of a slow, but just pretending that you were here, you know, even with just the Acorn Shot, that would help a lot. And if you had Bushwhack available at this point, I think you could have at least killed the Venge here.
Do you think we're stronger at this? Because in my head, like I was like, this is like we're still like behind, if that makes sense.
You guys are behind in levels, but like I was saying, like Axe, once he gets his Vanguard, like he is just stronger than PA, pretty much. And I would say your hero is equivalent to or slightly better than Avenge. Yeah.
Okay.
You shouldn't be scared of Avenge as a Hoodwink. Like, she should be scared of you. I'm not really sure which heroes match up, like which support heroes match up well into a Hoodwink. I just know that you kind of need to play against a Hoodwink the same way you would as a tree, where you just cut down all the trees, and it makes it harder for her to bushwhack you. Then she has to Acorn Shot, which means she needs level 2, blah, 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 blah. Like, she's difficult to lane against. Like, a good Hoodwink wins lanes, for sure. Like, there's just reasons she's been, like, meta for a while. It's just, she's incredibly annoying to lane against. Venge is okay, but not like that great. So yeah, you this is a lane where you can play with the axe and you can just help him more. You would you would out harass the Venge, you'd harass her away, and then whenever the Venge has to back off because you're punishing her too hard, you then start hitting the PA. And then, you know, remember the whole thing about like I think I've talked about this in the past with you, but the whole idea of like combining your spells together, you know, like going for like, have I talked about that at all? The whole idea of like going for a play and like coordinating things.
Not really, but I know like to chain like stuns and stuff.
Yeah, okay. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more next time as well. Because basically like Axe taunting PA there does like a certain amount of damage, and then obviously if you stack the stun with it, you're getting extra value. Like his taunt sets up your stun so you can like guarantee that you land it, so you're getting more of a
who should be like doing the stun? Is it like me to go first then Axe to do, or Axe to go and then me to do?
From a mechanical standpoint, it should be the Axe because his is effectively instant and yours has a travel time. Yours can be technically dodged, right? Like if they're paying attention and you throw a bushwhack, like they can cut the tree if they're fast enough.
Yeah, like I've seen people do that.
Yeah. So technically it should be the Axe, but it doesn't really matter. If you land the stun first, that still sets up for the Axe to then stun. And, you know, if you were here and you were capitalizing on his stun, you'd get to throw right clicks while he was taunting, and then you'd follow up with your stun, and then he would get to throw right clicks on your stun. So, like, every single stun you apply together is double effectiveness, because now it's not just not just the axe attacking, it's also the you attacking as well. And then he's also attacking on your stun. You double the damage, right? So that's why it's important to kind of like try to line up your spells together if possible. Like, don't just like randomly throw out a bushwhack. Try and plan it around an important timing of like, oh, I'm gonna stun him right before he's gonna go for this creep, or I'm gonna stun him like while he's pulling the camp, so he takes a bunch of damage from the camps, or I'm gonna stun him right after my teammate stuns him. Whatever, you know. Try and get extra value out of your spells, because you only get to cast a certain amount of bushwhacks in the lane, right? You're strictly limited on how many you can do, so maximizing the effectiveness of all of them is going to help a lot. Okay, I'm seeing like nothing about defensive aggro in this lane though, but there's still valuable stuff to learn.
Okay, I think like I think like I do it a bit when like the axe goes, like if that makes sense. Like after the axe like goes.
Sure. By the way, this is just based on, even though I said like this is a lane that you could just play straight up with the axe, if you were planning to play the lane the way that you have, which is like I'm gonna back off and make stacks over and over again, that's just another argument to like start with boots and like not buy a wraithband, or you know, buy buy a windlace, you know. Like this is an instance where the way you're playing would be a benefit to move speed. Not saying you have to start boots. I'm just saying like that's, you know, instead of buying a wraithband, what if you bought windlace or boots? That everything you're doing right now would be more effective. You'd have less downtime in between walking here, walking here, walking here, walking here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you said that eventually it happens. I'll just put it on you and we'll see. Was there a question about it in this one, or?
It's not so much. I think it's just like I try to do it like when like I'm like fighting the PA thing a bit.
Okay. Yeah, you're definitely on top of the stacking, which is awesome.
I think like axe TP's top or something.
Okay.
Get a point.
Gotta sneeze. All right, I'm not really seeing it. One question though, with the stacking, were you stacking because you felt like this was a hard lane that you guys were supposed to lose, or were you stacking simply because it's an axe, or what was your logic for why you were doing it?
Originally I was like, to the axe it's going to be like a harder lane like to us, so like I'll stack for you, just try get like levels and stuff.
Okay.
And then I was like, if axe is like, and then I was like, if axe gets ahead this game like a lot, it's like it would be like really beneficial, if that makes sense. Sure. Like I think he would be like, if axe gets like blink blade, like I think he does good against like the LC and the PA.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of putting the eggs in that basket.
Okay.
And then I think
Alright.
And then I think the Wraith King was just being really like negative, like on the thing, like on the like down like mic and stuff. So I was like, if I just focus on the axe, it's like it would be like better, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Okay, so I do like that you had a plan for why you were doing it. It's like you had a vision of how the lane was going to go, and then you're like trying to account for it. That's all awesome. I would just say though, my thinking would be exactly inverse. Like, like I would think I don't need to go stack because we can just win this lane because we're strong. And then also I'd be thinking like, if I am going to go stack, it's because I think we're weak and I want the axe to be able to recover.
Yeah, like
not because he's strong,
thought, like,
right?
I genuinely thought this like game, like we would like even in the score, like I thought like we were just going to be like super like crapped on like a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just looked at the score actually. It looks pretty rough. I hadn't looked at that yet. That's an issue for sure. Well, hey, you know what? You guys are doing well. Axe is the highest level and he hasn't died yet, so great job. All right, we can move to the next one, I think. All right, let's have a look at this one. So this is the Venge game.
I think I did a bunch of stacking in this one, but then I did try to like pull the lane a bit for the Night Stalker. Right.
Okay. So this is Jug Jakiro versus Night Stalker Venge. So this would be a lane where I'm pretty sure I'm not favored. Like, I think, you know, before it hits nighttime, like, they are heavily favored in this lane.
Yeah.
It can come down to execution, but I think on paper they should be able to bully you guys more. And I also wouldn't be looking at stacks as a way to fix it, because Night Stalker doesn't do stacks.
Oh, I did it for the
gyro.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's totally fine then. Gyro and troll can do that. Talk to me about your headdress though.
I was like, oh, like with the he does the Bernie thing. And I was just like, I'm gonna get like a mech later on.
Okay.
If I just get this, we should be able to like sustain like the damage and just like keep like recovering and trading. Like,
an interesting idea.
Like,
yeah, it's an interesting idea. I think in this lane I would go, if I was Avenged with a Night Stalker against Jakiro Juggernaut, I would go for burst healing and I'd go for move speed. Because Juggernaut doesn't cast enough spells to make a stick worth it, and Jakiro doesn't really either cast a lot of spells. So stick's kind of out. Juggernaut you want move speed against, so Windlace here probably, and then the rest I think I would just do normal regen, and then also because you're a universal hero, like lots of branches, because you can easily get yourself to like 60 damage and you just like outclick the hero. I mean, he has very high damage anyway, but you can get your damage like really high. So yeah, I would be looking at Windlace and stats here for sure. Maybe like a Fairy Fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like the idea. I don't think headdress is that effective, but I like the idea. And then another aspect to why I wouldn't be thinking to go mech here is that I already have an Undying, and Greaves is a much better item on Undying. It just fits him better. Venge gets a lot more benefit out of positioning spells.
Okay.
Because her ultimate repositions people, like she gets a lot of benefit out of like Blink and Force Staff, and then she also can benefit from auras as well. But you know, like, what the hell does an Undying do with a Blink Dagger? Like, it's just not that good, right? You get to be much more of an like. Undying is like your babysitter position 5 / teamfight guy. Ideally, I would be looking for Avenge to be roaming and going for pickoffs and ganks. So I'd want the items to reflect that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. Is that making sense how I'm thinking about it? I'm thinking of Venge as the offense and Undying is more of the defense. Undying is like, he's more like a warlock, right? Whereas Venge is more like, I don't know, like Hoodwink, or even like a Tusk or an Earth Spirit, where it's like, I single target stun people and murder them. That's my job, right?
Okay.
Yeah. That's how I like to think about the two supports. That helps me a lot when I'm thinking about items. Here's another thing. So you're going to make these stacks, right? I'd say this is too early.
Okay.
It's too early because neither Troll nor Gyro are going to be doing these stacks anytime soon. And because Night Stalker is not favored until he hits... It's actually not even about the levels with Night Stalker. It's more about just literally nighttime. So Night Stalker is a core that you do typically want to just babysit. Like, you want to sit next to him, and like, the more damage you put on this Juggernaut, especially while Jakiro's just doing whatever the hell Jakiro is doing, right? Like, you guys can be 2v1ing this Jug right now, and if Jug gets down to half health, like, he doesn't want to go spin on the Night Stalker. Like, if you get them low, they don't want to go for kills on you. So even though Jug Jakiro should be favored on paper, that doesn't mean you can't like counteract it by just doing a lot of damage to them.
Yeah, because I remember like even like in this game, there's a point where like I missed like we went on them and it was just like I didn't realize I was going because I went for the pool, which was like bad.
I would say just here, this is just way too early.
Okay.
This is a lane where I would stick with the Night Stalker and I would try and get my levels as well. He's not really gonna benefit from out leveling the Juggernaut too much. Like a little bit, but it's not actually a big deal. For him, he just wants nighttime, really. Like, he wants to get, like, a few levels and get to nighttime. So, like...
When it's, like... Also, sorry.
Good.
I was gonna say, when it's, like, at close to the tower, I don't want to pull it back, do I?
You mean when it's back here?
Yeah. So, like, then it was, like, close to the tower. I didn't want to focus on pulling it to our range creep.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so, yeah. The issue with doing that is that you would be...
making the tower
pulling it under tower, right? So like in this instance, if you can't pull the range creep because it's ranged, you know, it's just not going to chase you that far. But if this was a melee creep, you wouldn't want to pull it to the range creep because then the tower would hit it and then it wouldn't kill it fast enough. Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, normally when it gets here, you don't have to do anything. It's chill. It's good here.
Okay.
And also, like, a little minor thing you can be doing here, but because Night Stalker's not under any threat, and we don't even see the Jakiro doing anything, like, he's effectively just AFK, you could be sitting right here in between Juggernaut and the creeps and zoning him away.
Okay.
So that, you know, like, it's not really relevant because none of your creeps are going to die, but, like, if you are in these situations where it's, like, 2v1 and the Juggernaut is playing way scared, like, you can plant yourself in between to deny even more XP. Because if you can zone him out of XP range, then he's getting nothing, right?
Okay.
It's also a little bit of a psychological thing, because then he's going to be sitting here being like, oh my god, this Venge is, you know, bodying me off the creeps. Where's my support? This is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're going to, like, tilt him a little bit and also make him a little bit more intimidated, because that's, like, a big dick move, right? Like, sit in between him and the creeps and be like, look at me, you can't even fucking go near him, like, try me, you know? Like,
yeah,
it's good energy to be giving off for sure, but it does have the effect of, like, if you zone him away enough, he gets 0 XP, right? Not relevant here because none of your creeps are going to die, but say if this was like a full wave, you know, then it would be good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. See, again, this is where you should be able to defend him. Right, so this level 1 Jakiro walks up and just starts bullying your Night Stalker away. Actually doing exactly what I was just saying, right? So, like, he goes into the creep wave and past it to start harassing this Night Stalker. You should be sitting here ready to, like, start punching the Jakiro back and stun him.
Okay.
Yeah. That shouldn't be allowed, basically.
Okay.
So this is all just preemptive. I like the focus on it. But you don't want to be giving up on lanes that you could have won, you know? Because you're preparing for after the lane too much. Now, like, let's say the Axe game, let's say the lane matchup was, like, really bad. It was like an Ursa Veno, right? Versus the Axe. That's a lane where I'd be like, okay, I can't really help you too much. I'm going to go start making stacks for my Axe so that he can go recover at some point.
Yeah.
So I would try and slip away more often than not to go do that. But even then, if you're unfavored in the lane, you do still want to, like, protect the core. It's a really hard line to walk. It's basically like, if my core has to be sitting on the creeps, then I need to be sitting with him to protect him as much as possible. But then any chance I get, I want to, like, get away to give him solo XP and to go prepare other things. To go fight for runes and make stacks and blah, 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 blah. I want to go do that stuff in between.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I don't think we're going to have much defensive aggro in this one either. That also just serves to kind of push the lane when you do that, because you're debuffing all the creeps. Gotta be careful about that.
Okay.
It's okay. To hit Jug with it and do a little bit of damage is fine, but be careful about using Wave of Terror with a full creep wave there, just because it does theoretically push the wave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see how as soon as Night Stalker, like, as soon as it hit nighttime, like, Night Stalker's out. He's like, I'm gonna go kill someone. That's the timing you're playing for, right? That's the type
5
of hero. Yeah, it's the timing you're playing for is like, you know, he gets to a certain point in the game and then he's ready to go. Like he doesn't want to just like static lane anymore, right? He wants to go murder people. A little bit like a spirit breaker. So what you would want to do, be playing off of this, like knowing that's the type of hero he is, right? You'd want to be thinking about, okay, if Night Stalker hits nighttime, does he automatically kill the core that we're laning against? Like, let's say it's like a drow or something, you know? Does he get to just murder drow? If so, then I want to be prepared to go with the Night Stalker at that time. But because it's a Juggernaut, he doesn't really threaten a Juggernaut like even at nighttime that well. It's not like a guaranteed kill. Just based on like how spin gets used and if, you know, Night Stalker silences first and blah 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 blah. So this would be one where you'd be thinking like, okay, who can Night Stalker kill? Can he kill Arc Warden? Can he kill top lane? You know, and you'd want to prepare everything ahead of time. So that means you'd want to have smokes, you'd want to have your boots ready, and you'd want to have this wave like pushing before you leave. So like, you know, in this instance, boom, okay, we got the wave pushing. This would be a great time to like smoke, go with the Night Stalker and go kill Arc Warden.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, you don't know if you have enough damage to kill the Arc Warden. What if the enemy supports TP in to save him? If you're there to help, you up the chances of the kill happening, right? So with a Night Stalker, and especially the way this guy is playing it, the lane phase is immediately breaking down at 5 minutes. He's like, I'm out. I'm not laning anymore. Let's go roam. And Venge is a really good hero to help go roam with.
Okay.
This is also partly why we don't want to bother with the headdress. We want to get our boots quickly. You know, we want to have smokes and all that stuff ready to go.
Okay.
So sticking around to like get some XP and stuff like this is fine as well. But like you can see, you're not even comfortable to walk up to the creeps because Night Stalker's not here. So then you kind of like go back to stacking again, which is also good. Like it's not bad that you're stacking because you do have, you know, your gyro who can go do them.
I think it was as well, like, because like I when he spanned last time, he just ran me down in lane. I was like, he probably just, if I get like hit by any sort of slow with the thing, I just die.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a safe lane for you. And that's also probably why Night Stalker is probably immediately pissing off because he's recognizing that like Hero Jug is kind of a kill lane. It's not the best kill lane ever, but it is a kill lane. So in your case, what I'd be thinking about right here, because to be honest, I wouldn't be expecting my Night Stalker to like run mid right now. This would be a communication thing, you know, like once I see that he's doing it, I'd be like, oh shit, do I need a TP mid, or is this guy being a nincompoop, or was I supposed to go with him? Like it would throw a wrench in my brain. But I would be thinking about the 6-minute rune right now.
Okay.
That's important. So you do want to be thinking about 6-minute power runes. So you want to be in this area right now. But yeah, okay, that's a lot of stuff. Any questions about anything we talked about so far? Otherwise, I think we can go into our.
No, I think that's fine.
Okay. So first off, so stop buying. We're gonna put that in the homework.
Stop buying that.
So just for the next week, don't buy all talisman. Okay. Yeah. So don't buy those laning items, and also stop contesting the runes and risking your health. If no one is there on the bounty rune, or you know that they can't get to the bounty rune in time because they showed 5 heroes on the other side of the map, go ahead and grab the bounty rune. Otherwise, don't fight for the bounty rune. Because I want you to see what it's like when you start the lane with full health and full, you know, regen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Start from there. Start from the position of like, we're gonna make sure our lane is good all the time, and then you can start experimenting. You can go back later and experiment more with like fighting for the rune. But I think way too many people throw their games on the bounty runes, and it's just not worth it. Like 40 gold is literally a last hit. It's not worth throwing away the first several waves because you're at 10% HP. So that's the first thing. So let's So the stacking thing was coming up. So actually, let's talk about the creep aggro first. So we understand why we want to do it.
Yeah.
We saw the thing with the axe where you did the attack move instead. So takeaway 1, aggro only works on attack commands, not attack moves. That's the first one. Takeaway 2, as axe, careful about be careful about aggroing the creeps because it pushes your lane with counter helix, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes that's not what you want. You know, in a lane where you're not favored, you don't want to do that. At least until you are favored. The third one was so don't abandon the lane to make a million stacks in a lane where your presence can mean you just win the lane, right? So that was the hoodwink with the axe one. You guys could just play that lane straight up and it would be good for you. With the Night Stalker Venge one, it's not as easy to just win the lane, but also Night Stalker needs your help until he's strong enough, right? So you're kind of only allowed to go stack as much as you did in 2 instances. So in 2 instances, the first instance is where the lane is it's basically both of them. The lane is a foregone conclusion. Either the matchup is so freaking good for you that they just do not need your help at all. You know, say it's like a PA versus a Timber, right? And the Timber just dicks on the PA and the enemy support doesn't do anything to Timber. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't even need me. He can 1v2, no problem, right? The other one is where it's the exact opposite and there's like nothing you can do to save the lane. That's where you would go start roaming a lot, right? Only and stream. Is that making sense? Any questions about that?
No, that makes sense.
Okay, for sure. Can you think of another takeaway here? Boots would be good. Like boots.
Get wind place
when you're roaming, back, or need to dodge dangerous. Like, okay. Yeah. Anything else you can think of, or is that pretty much it?
If it's a killy person and he goes get smoke, if like Night Stalker.
Yeah, good one. That's a really good one. Okay. So that would be so that would be having the smoke ready like ahead of time. This would be if you know that he's going to do something like that, right? That's why I was saying I wouldn't be expecting him to do that, but like if you were expecting him to do that, then having the smoke ready would be good. What were you gonna say?
If like say I'm playing Night Stalker and I get like I want to gank, should I buy a smoke or should I just gank?
You could buy your own smoke. I mean, they're not that expensive. Like, I would prefer that my supports buy it for me, but if you're pretty sure that like A, you can go kill the hero that you're ganking, and B, he has a ward that you need to dodge, then yes. It's okay to go buy your own smoke. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the same thing as like buying your own sentries or buying your own wards as before. Like, people are way too stingy with their money. Like, they need to be willing to buy these little items. So I'd be careful about it. Don't break the bank buying all the support items, but yeah, absolutely, like here and there, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You know, again, it's like the bounty rune. It's 50 gold. Like, that is not going to make or break the game, you know? And maybe that 50 gold turns into 300 gold because you killed the enemy mid hero, right? There was another one. Let's see. Or buy smokes as 4. Yes. There was another one that I was going to mention. I can't remember what it was now. Think. Oh, yeah. Let me write it down. So try to combine your spells together, right? Chain stuns, maximize damage, right? Every single stun you do just gets better the more friendly heroes are nearby.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit of like, it sort of plays into the idea of playing for timings, but it's also, it's more just like you're just maximizing whatever you're doing. Like, it's actually like the whole idea of like chaining your stun with the axe taunt is actually, it's the same idea as smoking with your Night Stalker. It's just like powerful timings, playing around them, and kind of reserving your resources or getting the resources ready for that like big moment, right?
Yeah.
Trying to play, it's like a play, like playing around a play. Like, what's the play? I'm gonna buy a smoke and we're gonna go mid. What's the play? We're gonna stack our stuns and burst this guy down to 10% HP, right?
Yeah.
The more you can kind of internalize that planning and that execution, the better it's gonna be. Like, that's helped my game out dramatically. Just the idea of like combining heroes together and thinking about what their timings are and trying to plan ahead for them, especially as a support, right? Because your job as a support is to add your hero's strength to other heroes' strength. Like, that's why it's called a support. You know, you're not supposed to be able to go 1v1 heroes. Like, sometimes that happens. You're supposed to help someone win a trade that they weren't supposed to win on their own, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. As like a basic concept of like how a support operates. You're enabling or you're amplifying what other heroes do. This is why it can be hard to climb as a support, because you're reliant on other heroes to do things. Okay. So let's go over the homework one more time. So don't buy those little laning items, Null Talisman, Wraithband, Bracer. Stop contesting bounding runes and risking your health. And then we'll also add on the whole idea of looking to combine spells and heroes together.
Okay.
For big plays. For sure. All right, man. Anything else, or do you want to call it there?
Nah, that's fine. Thank you.
For sure, dude. Good job. Keep it up. And want to see some different stuff by next week. Hopefully that'll help.
Sure.
All right, cool.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Peace out. Have a good one.
All right. I will. Thank you. You too. All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, if that was helpful, check out the playlist at the end of the video with all the other coaching videos. I record these live on Twitch. Check me out, Mr. TV. I stream every weekday, 2:30 p.m. PST, about 7 p.m. every weekday. And if you're interested in getting coached by me, or you have any questions about this stuff, you can comment down below. Check out my Patreon, all that stuff. I'd be glad to help you out. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.